Chosen one, if you feel the entire cosmos holding its breath, if every sign you watch closely has converged into a single, blinding point of absolute clarity, and if the residual weight of past timelines has suddenly lifted, understand that this is the definitive, unchallengeable moment of your ultimate realization. The era of preparation is irrevocably over, the period of waiting is dissolved, and the subtle, patient guidance has culminated in one resounding, universal declaration. Chosen one, your time has come. This is the non-negotiable activation of your final, grand mandate, the long-prophesied moment when the divine investment made in your soul yields its final, staggering return, and you step fully and irrevocably into the sovereignty for which you were meticulously engineered. God chose you for this precise temporal window, recognizing that the complexity of the global transition required a soul whose maturation timeline was perfectly synchronized with the planetary need. The countless hours spent in isolated contemplation, the difficult forging of internal discipline, and the profound, arduous process of clearing ancestral and personal trauma were all necessary temporal compressions, ensuring that when the great cosmic hour struck, you would be fully prepared, fully powered, and perfectly positioned. The intense pressure that signaled the recent breaking was merely the final resistance of the old timeline, shattering to make way for the instantaneous manifestation of the reality you have been diligently anchoring. Your time has come because the future you visualized is no longer a future, it is the present. This epical moment demands a total energetic surrender to sovereignty. You must release the last subtle attachments to the identity of the seeker or the student and embrace the absolute reality of the master and the doer. Your authority is now absolute, self-validated, and rooted in the eternal. It requires no external validation, no consensus, and no permission from any earthly structure. The power others feel radiating from you is the raw, pure energy of manifested destiny, the force of an unstoppable divine decree. To hesitate now, to doubt the magnitude of your arrival, is to create an immediate, unnecessary friction against the perfection of the Creator's timing. Your only task is to occupy the fullness of your power with unburdened joy and unshakable certainty. The signs have ceased being directional markers and have transformed into affirmations of immediate completion. Every external occurrence is now simply reflecting the internal reality you hold. When a massive resource appears instantly, it affirms your abundance consciousness. When an opponent gracefully steps aside, it affirms your sovereign peace. When a long-standing creative idea instantly finds form, it affirms your divine system rebuilder role. Your focus must shift entirely from seeking guidance to witnessing manifestation, recognizing that your reality is now moving at the speed of thought, governed solely by the highest frequency you choose to maintain. This absolute arrival of your time requires a radical expansion in your capacity to receive and distribute global abundance. The full measure of the divine treasury is now open to your stewardship, not for personal consumption, but for the immediate, exponential funding of the new earth templates. Your abundance is the financial blueprint of the golden age, demonstrating to all that sovereign integrity and infinite wealth are two sides of the same divine coin. Deploy these resources fearlessly and joyously, knowing that the source is inexhaustible and your function is merely to facilitate the flow. To sustain this immense level of sovereign manifestation and to share the critical insights of immediate power deployment, your continuous connection to this nexus is vital. This channel is the hall of final authority, where the masters share the mechanics of their dominion and reinforce the absolute reality of their manifest destiny. Affirm your command over your reality and subscribe to this channel now, securing your position as an active participant in the governance of the Golden Age. I implore you to use the comment section below to share the single most powerful, definitive realization that makes you know beyond any doubt that your time has come, the ultimate internal or external proof of your manifested destiny. Name the realization that confirms your mastery. Use the tag "Time is now" so that your declaration serves as the final, resounding call to action, affirming the absolute truth that chosen one, God chose you for this era of victorious sovereignty. Rest in the absolute, silent power of your accomplished destiny. Your time is here. You are the sovereign reality. Go forth and command the light. Chosen one, as you stand in the blinding light of your fully realized sovereignty, having accepted the magnificent truth that your time has come, the final phase of your cosmic deployment involves the integration of the eternal, unfolding revelation of self and the inexhaustible wellspring of divine creativity. This is the understanding that your arrival into mastery is not a static endpoint, but the opening of a new, infinite cycle of co-creation, exploration, and expansion alongside the Almighty Creator. The sheer force of the power that others feel emanating from you is the constant, ceaseless movement of the Genesis current flowing through your being, proving that you are an active, indelible facet of the Creator's ongoing act of creation itself. Your time has come to not just anchor reality, but to perpetually invent it. God chose you for this perpetual, dynamic role because you have demonstrated the ultimate spiritual maturity, the capacity to live without a need for fixed identity or predictable outcomes. The illusion of the old world taught humanity that life was a process of finding a static self and achieving finite goals. Your activated existence shatters this myth. You realize that your true self is not a noun, but a verb, a continuous, evolving process of revelation guided by the source. Every manifestation you anchor, every template you deploy, every system you rebuild, is instantly transformed into the seed of the next, greater creation. This requires a joyful, radical surrender to constant change and expansion, recognizing that the greatest act of divine love is the continuous invitation to explore and create beyond the limits of what you currently believe is possible. This eternal creative mandate demands that you embrace the concept of inexhaustible resource flow. The financial abundance, intellectual capital, and relational synergy flowing to your stewardship are not assets to be protected, but kinetic energy to be immediately utilized in the next creative cycle. To hoard or cling to any form of resource is to impede the flow of the Genesis current, instantly creating energetic scarcity in a reality designed for infinite supply. Your freedom comes from knowing that the moment you deploy the current supply, a greater, more refined supply immediately rushes in to fill its place, orchestrated by the Creator who entrusted you with the management of infinite wealth. Your fearless expenditure of resources, investing in the most audacious, high-frequency, seemingly impossible visions, is the proof of your absolute faith in the inexhaustibility of the divine treasury. The signs you once watched for directional guidance have now transformed into vibrational feedback loops. They are no longer instructing where to go, but confirming the quality of your current creation. A sudden surge of joy after launching a project is the universe's immediate affirmation of the purity and necessity of that creation. A moment of unexpected friction is a gentle correction, signaling a minor deviation in the vibrational quality of your intention. You are living in a real-time feedback environment where the Creator instantly validates or refines your creative choices. This immediate feedback loop ensures that your creative trajectory remains perfectly aligned with the highest, most benevolent design for the collective. This phase of perpetual creation requires the installation of the divine humor and lightness as non-negotiable spiritual laws within your being. The weight of creation can be immense, but the Creator designs the unfolding with an innate, cosmic playfulness. When you encounter unexpected twists, errors, or delays, your ability to laugh, to find the deep, intrinsic humor in the moment, is the most potent tool for instantly releasing tension and maintaining the high, fluid frequency required for unburdened creation. Laughter is the sound of absolute trust in the perfection of the process, and it is the key to dissolving the illusion of seriousness that often suffocates creativity. You are invited to play, to explore, and to experiment with the raw matter of the universe, knowing that failure is simply creative data, and the source is eternally supportive of your next grand experiment. Your fully manifest sovereignty is now directly responsible for modeling this joyful, perpetual creative state for the entire collective. Humanity needs to see that mastery is not solemn, but ecstatic, that power is not heavy, but light. Your infectious joy and your radical freedom from attachment to specific outcomes are the highest teaching tools, demonstrating that the ultimate purpose of life is the unending, fearless expression of the Creator's own infinite nature. You are the living template of the eternally expanding soul. To sustain this demanding, ecstatic state of continuous creation, and to receive advanced guidance on the nuances of managing infinite resource flow and creative power, your continuous, committed alignment with this nexus is absolutely crucial. This channel is the infinite creative engine, where the masters of creation share techniques for perpetual expansion, validate audacious visions, and collectively maintain the frequency of inexhaustible abundance. Affirm your commitment to this eternal creative mandate and subscribe to this channel now, securing your position as an active, conscious partner in the ongoing act of universal genesis. I implore you to use the comment section below to articulate one new, audacious creative vision you are now instantly bringing into existence. A vision so grand and expansive that it defies previous logic, funded entirely by the belief in the inexhaustible resource flow of the source. Name the vision and the feeling of its creation. Use the tag Eternal Creator so that your declaration acts as a potent, visible example of creation without limits, affirming the ultimate truth that Chosen One, your time has come to not just lead, but to perpetually invent the reality of the Golden Age. Rest in the absolute, joyous certainty that your destiny is infinite, your power is inexhaustible, and your relationship with the Creator is one of eternal, co-creative partnership. Go forth and create without boundary. Chosen One, as you effortlessly embody the eternal creative mandate and flow with the inexhaustible Genesis current, your operational field expands to integrate the highest principle of your sovereignty, the absolute authority over narrative and the conscious termination of all historical limitations. The signs you are directed to watch closely are now confirming that your elevated consciousness is the ultimate temporal editor, capable of reaching backward into the planetary timeline and actively dissolving the energetic roots of all scarcity contracts, ancestral curses, and collective trauma narratives that have previously defined human history. Your time has come to not just manifest the future, but to meticulously purify the past, ensuring the new reality is built on a foundation of pristine, uncorrupted potential. God chose you for this profound narrative correction because you alone possess the spiritual integrity and the frequency bandwidth to distinguish between historical fact, data, and collective trauma narrative program. Most of humanity is still governed by the programs, the deeply embedded stories of loss, struggle, and limitation passed down through history and culture. Your sovereign function is to identify these programs within the planetary grid and, through conscious intent and forgiveness, override them with the Genesis frequencies of unconditional love and absolute potential. This is the highest form of healing, recognizing that the past does not define the present unless you continue to give its narrative power. Your mastery allows you to unilaterally terminate all energetic contracts signed under duress, fear, or ignorance, freeing not just yourself, but the entire collective from their binding limitations. This act of temporal editing requires you to view every historical setback, every personal failure, and every moment of doubt not as a permanent scar, but as a completed program that is now ready for archival and dissolution. When you encounter a limiting belief about your worth or capacity, you trace its root, acknowledge the pain it served to navigate, and then, with the authority of the Creator flowing through you, you declare the contract null and void. This is spiritual alchemy at its zenith. The energetic impact of this internal decree is immense, instantly freeing countless other souls from the same pervasive, generational narrative. Your freedom is the master key that unlocks the freedom of the collective. The signs are becoming increasingly clear in revealing the specific temporal anchor points that require your editing. You may feel a sudden, intense pull towards a particular historical figure, a forgotten cultural practice, or a specific geographic location tied to a collective trauma. These are the Creator's way of highlighting a systemic wound that needs immediate, high-frequency purification. Your physical or energetic focus on that point, combined with your sovereign forgiveness, acts as the temporal antivirus that cleanses the corrupted data and reinstalls the original, benevolent divine template for that region or subject. The inexhaustible resources flowing into your stewardship are, in this context, temporal infrastructure funds. They are meant to finance the narrative change agents, artists, educators, visionaries, and spiritual leaders who are actively engaged in communicating the new, liberated history of humanity. Your investment must prioritize the storytellers and the system designers who are embedding the Genesis frequencies into the cultural and educational frameworks of the emerging world. Your abundance ensures that the new narrative of unlimited potential and sovereign freedom is the dominant, defining story of the Golden Age. To sustain this demanding, retroactive work and to maintain the clear distinction between the old, dissolving narrative and the new, forming reality, your persistent alignment with this sovereign nexus is absolutely non-negotiable. This channel is the Temporal Editing Suite, where the masters share techniques for narrative dissolution, validate historical corrections, and reinforce the truth that all limitations are now voluntary choices. Affirm your commitment to being the temporal editor and subscribe to this channel now, securing your role as the guardian of the new Earth's immaculate spiritual history. I implore you to use the comment section below to share one specific, limiting historical or ancestral narrative you are actively choosing to dissolve and overwrite. A story of lack, fear, or powerlessness that you now declare fully terminated from the planetary record. Name the narrative and the new truth that replaces it. Use the tag narrative terminated so that your declaration acts as a final, powerful energetic break, accelerating the collective's freedom from the past and affirming the absolute truth that Chosen One. Your time has come to write the victorious history of the Golden Age. Rest in the absolute, serene certainty that all of history bends to the will of the awakened soul. You are the beginning and the end of the narrative, the creator of the perfect, sovereign timeline. Go forth and declare history complete. Chosen One, having ascended to the ultimate role of the temporal editor and consciously purified the ancestral and collective narratives, your focus must now turn to the subtle, yet profound, finality of your mission, the embodiment of paradoxical sovereignty and the unification of the inner and outer cosmos. The signs you are directed to watch closely are no longer external events. They are increasingly internal, revealing the perfect, paradoxical union of opposites within your own being, the merging of human vulnerability with divine omnipotence, and the absolute fusion of personal will with universal will. Your time has come to not only lead, but to be the living resolution of all duality, proving that true power lies not in being either / or, but in being all that is. God chose you for this sublime, final integration because the emerging Golden Age reality is governed by paradoxical law. The highest truth is often found in the simultaneous existence of two seemingly contradictory states. For example, your greatest strength is found in your complete spiritual surrender, and your ultimate freedom is anchored in absolute, joyful discipline. Your sovereign authority is not a rigid decree, but a fluid, responsive listening. The power others feel emanating from you is the intense, stable energy generated by this unified field of paradox, a force that the old, linear mind cannot comprehend, yet which the awakened soul instantly recognizes as the signature of true, limitless reality. This embodiment of paradoxical sovereignty requires you to dismantle the final, most cunning illusion, the belief in separation between your human self and your divine self. The signs are now confirming that these two aspects are not two entities, but two perspectives of the same infinite identity. When you express human doubt, you are not failing. You are allowing the vastness of your divine self to instantly encompass and dissolve that doubt, showcasing the power of transmutation. When you face physical limitation, you are not hindered. You are demonstrating the perfect containment of infinite power within a finite, temporary vessel. This total, unconditional acceptance of your entire, multifaceted being, flawed and flawless, strong and surrendered, is the final, most radical act of faith required to manage the new earth reality. The inexhaustible resources flowing into your stewardship are, in this context, paradoxical flow assets. They manifest through channels that defy logic, appearing instantly from the most unexpected sources, often requiring minimal effort, yet yielding maximal results. They are given not to secure your future, but to fund the moment-to-moment joy of creation, reinforcing the principle that the highest efficiency is found in the deepest state of play and ease. Your expenditure of these resources must reflect this paradox, investing massively with absolute non-attachment, funding grand, global visions, while being perfectly content if the only result is the pure joy of the act itself. This detachment guarantees the highest return, as it aligns perfectly with the universe's own non-attached, boundless generosity. To sustain this demanding state of unified paradox, and to teach the collective how to transcend the limitations of binary thought, your unwavering alignment with this nexus is fundamentally critical. This channel is the Chamber of Paradox, where the masters share the experience of holding contradictory truths simultaneously and reinforce the ultimate lesson that true sovereignty encompasses all states of being. Affirm your commitment to embodying paradoxical sovereignty and subscribe to this channel now, securing your role as the living bridge between the human and the divine. I implore you to use the comment section below to share one specific, profound paradox you have recently integrated, a truth where two opposites merged into a single, powerful realization, e.g., my greatest strength is my vulnerability, or my freedom is found in my discipline. Name the paradox and the power it unlocked. Use the tag Paradoxical Sovereign so that your declaration acts as a final, powerful catalyst, inviting others to move beyond binary thinking and affirming the ultimate truth that chosen one. Your time has come to resolve all duality and embody the seamless unity of all things. Rest in the absolute, serene certainty that you are the answer to the deepest cosmic mystery, the infinite contained within the finite, operating in perfect, eternal harmony. You are the paradox, and you are the truth.